Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about my personal theories regarding the ending and general lore surrounding Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now I want to preface this by first saying that I did not play Xenoblade 1 or Xenoblade 2. However, I did watch videos on those two games, so I'm familiar with their respective storylines and characters. I also didn't read any other theories that may exist around the internet, so forgive me if I present an idea that's either already been widely accepted or debunked by the community. I wanted to give myself a fair shot at crafting my own thoughts and theories about this game before watching what other people have come up with. Finally, this video will have major spoilers for Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3, so if you want to avoid those, don't watch this video until you've completed the main storyline in those three games. If you're fine with getting the game spoiled or having completed it, then go ahead and continue watching. Now, let's get right into it. The main question that we're going to want to answer first is, who are the people of Ionis? We can find some clues to this in our main party, starting with Noah, first of all, who has a Swordmaster class, with his sword, or his blade, bearing resemblance to the Shulk's Monado from Xenoblade 1. More than just the design of the sword, but also the color of its edge when it's active. Shulk and Noah's swords both exude a blue energy, whereas in Xenoblade 2, the main protagonist Rex had a sword that emitted a green aura. Now we can switch over to Mio and take a look at her weapon. It's the exact same type of weapon used by Nia in Xenoblade 2. However, you could argue that Mio's weapon type is more common than something like the Monado or Lucky 7. The Monado being Shulk's weapon and Lucky 7 being Noah's weapon. So it's not as strong of a connection, being that they're just average dual blades. So to look a little deeper into the party, we can take a look at the different races of people we have in our party. Looking at Noah's party first, we have Lance, who has a great complexion and is mentioned to have a sturdier body than most other people. Both the appearance and description of Lance seems a lot like Machina from Xenoblade 1. This points towards Lance being a Machina. These Machina were actually residents of one of the two Titans in Xenoblade 1. Namely, they lived on the Mykonos. These two Titans were essentially what was the world that the residents of Xenoblade 1 lived on. One of those Titans was the Mykonos, as I just mentioned, and the other Titan in the game being the Bionis. Next, we have Uni as the next party member in Noah's group. Uni has exceptional command over ether arts and has wings on her head. This points to her having High Entia blood, and the High Entia were a race of people in Xenoblade 1 that lived on the other Titan, the Bionis. And these people had strong command over ether arts, pointing towards Uni being High Entia herself. Then we have Mio. She has feline ears and a crystal at the center of her chest that glows red and blue. One of the main party members in Xenoblade 2 had both of these features. This was Nia. Now the crystal was due to her being what was known as a flesh eater. To understand what these are, we first need to introduce blades in Xenoblade 2. Blades were actually creatures in that game and could bond with a human who was known as their driver, and they would fight alongside one another as partners. A flesh eater was a blade that was fused with humanoid cells to make it more powerful. The red and blue glowing crystals were characteristic of these flesh eaters. And finally, we have Senna. She has flaming hair and a circular blue crystal on her chest, along with glowing blue lines flowing through her torso and arms. These flowing blue lines, along with the crystal at the center of her chest, points to Senna being a pure blade, as her crystal was purely blue and not red, and all the ether lines on her were also blue. This is what a pure blade would look like. Furthermore, she is probably a descendant of a specific blade in Xenoblade 2 known as Brigid, as they have very similar traits to each other. Looking past just our party and into the general populations of Keves and Agnes, we can see some other clues, such as Kevesian Levnesses strongly resembling the Mechon from Xenoblade 1. These were the primary adversaries of your party at the start of the game. We can also see that there are many members of Keves that appear to be Machina, such as Valdi, Mwamba, and Sagiri, while other Kevesi are Hyentia, such as Xeon. On the other hand, most if not all Agnians have blade-like traits such as flames, horns, and core crystals. Not only that, but at one point in the story, Lance and Senna chat about the difference between Keves and Agnians, and it's stated that it's a well-known fact that Agnian soldiers are naturally stronger than Kevesian soldiers. This could be due to the fact that Agnians are descendants of blades or blade-human hybrids, due to blades being generally stronger than humans in Xenoblade 2. Now let's take a look at the queens. Queen Melia Antiqua of Keves and Queen Nia of Agnes. First, Queen Melia. We can clearly see that she's Hyentia from Xenoblade 1, given the wings on her head. However, what's more interesting is that she is very likely the same Queen Melia Antiqua from Xenoblade 1. For starters, in Xenoblade 1, it's stated that Hyentia can live for centuries, so it wouldn't be unthinkable for her to be alive after all this time. More than just this, when you complete Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and reach the final cutscene, you can see Queen Melia in the Keves castle opening a compartment to reveal the Monado from Xenoblade 1, showing her connection to Shulk's group. After you've beat the game, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and go back into the save file, you can actually unlock both queens as heroes and do their respective ascension quests. When you get Melia to join your party, the clothes that she wears are the same clothes worn by Melia in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and she even uses the same weapon. While doing Melia's ascension quest, you learn about her past. For example, you find out that she has a fear of rainbow bugs, a species of insect that has gone extinct. However, rainbow bugs were a collectible in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, possibly alluding to the fact that she is from that game. Oops. She also tells you that there was once an assassin in her family that tried to kill her. In Xenoblade Chronicles 1, an attempt was made on Melia's life by a member of her own family due to the fact that she wasn't a pure-blood Hyentia. And then throughout her ascension quest, she makes little references to a group she used to travel with and learned a lot from. And then at the very end of her ascension quest, you get a flashback of her memories of Shulk's group, confirming that she is the same Melia Antiqua from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And then next, we have Queen Nia. In the final cutscene of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, she opens a compartment in the Agnes castle to reveal Poppy, a machine built to act as a blade for a Nopon in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Then the scene pans to a picture sitting on Nia's desk, where you can see the main group from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, this including Rex, Pyra, Mithra, Brigid, and Nia. Pyra and Mithra are both Rex's blade from Xenoblade 2. And you can see in the picture that both of them, along with Nia, have a baby, implying that Rex had an offspring with both of his blades and with Nia. Given that Nia is a flesh eater, it's possible that Mio is her daughter, as she is also a flesh eater. But they've lost connection since Ionis was overtaken by the Mobius. Furthermore, when she joins the group as a hero, she puts on an outfit different from her queen attire, and when asked about it, she states that it's an outfit that she used to wear in her past life. This is the same outfit that is worn by Nia in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. When you do her Ascension quest, she tells you about the Orion Mountains, and tells you that they didn't always used to be mountains, and used to look quite different. In this case, she's probably referencing the Titans from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Titans were giant floating creatures that served as living spaces for the population of Xenoblade 2. And it was even found out later in that story that blades eventually matured into Titans as part of their life cycle. She also talks about the ruins found in Mac the Forest. She says that they are from a civilization from before the two worlds split. Here she must be referencing the origin of the worlds of Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2. To be more specific, when you beat the main story of Xenoblade 1, you find out that the world of Xenoblade 1 actually came into existence due to a scientist performing an experiment out in space, probably a normal scientist in a space shuttle orbiting Earth. This experiment went terribly wrong and ended up splitting the universe into two, the universe of Xenoblade 1 and the universe of Xenoblade 2. The scientist performing this experiment was also split into two halves. Each of these halves became a god of sorts in the world of Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2. The god of Xenoblade 1 was known as Zanza and controlled the Bionis, while the god of Xenoblade 2 was known as the Architect, and these two gods were interlinked as they originated from the same being, but they didn't interact much with each other. Long story short, in each of these two games, you defeat Zanza and the Architect respectively. When you do this, a portal opens between the two universes, through which, in a DLC of the game of Xenoblade 2, Rex's group in Xenoblade 2 can actually meet and battle with Shulk's group from Xenoblade 1. However, this portal opening between the two worlds is probably what kickstarted the process of their collision and eventual annihilation of each other. Realizing this, Queen Melia and Queen Nia began the construction of the origin to save their civilization. But when Mobius were born out of everyone's collective fear of the future, the story of Xenoblade 3 began. With the collision of these two worlds stopped in time by Mobius, and the people from Queen Melia's world being used as Kevesi soldiers, and the people of Queen Nia's world being used as Agnian soldiers. That's the main explanation I wanted to present today surrounding the ending and lore of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and its connection to the previous two games of Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2. I found a few other things interesting that are worth mentioning, but I didn't know where in the video to place them, so here are some other fun little details I noticed in the game. Number 1. In the intro sequence, the very first cutscene you get when you start the game, the two worlds are in the process of colliding. One of these worlds was exuding a blue energy, while the other was exuding a yellow-green aura. Both Noah and Mio follow the same color pattern. Noah's blade has a blue edge, while Mio's blade is yellow-green. Same with their respective levnesses. Kevesi levnesses have blue energy lines flowing through them, whereas the ether lines flowing through Agnian levnesses are yellow-green. Even the flame clocks, Kevesi flame clocks are blue, while Agnian flame clocks are yellow-green. And finally, transforming into Ouroboros. When you transform into Ouroboros, if the transformation is controlled by Noah, Uni, or Lance, who are Kevesian, the color of the Ouroboros symbol is blue, whereas if it's controlled by Mio, Teon, or Senna, who are all Agnian, then it is instead yellow-green. This is probably a general color that is meant to signify one race or the other, or one world or the other, and it's even followed by Rex. As I mentioned earlier, Rex's blade is green in color. It's more of a yellow-green. And that is the first kind of fun thing that I found. Number 2, I found if you go behind the super boss called Dreadworm Nizunt, on the upper ledge and at the back of the room, you can find an item called the Legendary Biter. This is Riki's signature weapon from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And Riki was the Nopon of the group in Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Finally, when you join a battle with either Melia or Nia set as the hero in your party, you will hear that each of them has their own custom battle theme that plays during the fight. I'm not sure if this is a reference to any battle music from the first two games, since I couldn't find it, but I thought it was a neat detail and is likely some kind of reference to their respective worlds as well. Now, to actually show what these two sound like, this is what Queen Melia's soundtrack sounds like when you enter a battle with her in your party. So that is this is Queen Melia's song. And next I want to show what Queen Nia's song sounds like when you join a fight with her in your party. So this is what it sounds like when you enter a fight with Queen Nia set as your hero. Personally, I find these soundtracks very enjoyable, and I actually like them more than the standard battle soundtrack that we have. So I'm really happy that they gave each of them their own personal soundtracks. But anyways, that's everything that I wanted to tackle in this video and show all of you. I know there's plenty that I probably missed and many other small details that I couldn't talk about. This game just has honestly so much content that I could actually spend all day talking about it. So I decided to focus on the key details that stood out to me the most. Feel free to discuss more in the comments or leave any feedback of your thoughts on this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.